Hello there, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the colour mauve. It's a very pale lavender lilac-y type of colour. It's composed of reds, greens and blues. And before we do go into talking about the specifics of mauve, I'd like to thank you in advance for watching this video. I'd like to invite you and encourage you to leave any comments and feedbacks in relation to the content, the delivery, the way I deliver tutorials or videos as well. I'm open to all feedback, positive or negative. And I also invite you to leave your own experiences if you use colour in your healing work, if you're a practitioner of energy healing, shall we say, or even if you work in the fields of mental health, doing healing, art therapy, that kind of thing. So I'd also love to hear how far the videos are going. I can check, of course, if I look at the analytics to see whereabouts my audience is, but I'm more interested actually in really knowing or developing that personal connection with you, the viewer, and to find out where you're subscribing from and what kind of content that you're looking for on here. But anyway, without any further ado, I'll leave that with you to ponder and we'll crack on. So the first thing that we can talk about in regard to getting understanding of colours and the properties is actually looking at the connections to the chakras that they have. Now, any colour that has got white in it, of course, white has got purification properties. When we talk about the colour mauve, we're talking about colours that are linked, of course, with the red chakra, the base chakra, which is the will and base survival instincts. There's not a lot of that specifically within the colour mauve rather, if I can speak, but it also will, because it brings in colours of the blue and shades of blue and green. It's got smidgens of the qualities of the heart chakra, shall we say, and the capacity to relieve anxiety, to enhance and expand upon forgiveness and compassion and the attributes of love, shall we say. But it's also about the capacity to communicate effectively in loving and nurturing ways. But it is more associated, shall we say, with the crown chakra, which the crown chakra, obviously, when we're in a balanced chakra state, that is about having this heightened awareness and understanding at a far deeper level about what motivates us, and to apply this to our understanding of both the smaller picture, how we operate day to day, and also the bigger universal type picture. So the emphasis, of course, of mauve being on the higher chakras, and particularly the crown chakra, is about intuition, spiritual awareness, expansion, inspiration, and a really deep understanding of life in general, the people in it, and an ability to make sense of what it is that we're actually experiencing, both on the earth plane and with our sense of inner knowing. And of course, we're talking about these links with the intuition. So the intuition, of course, is our physical capacities or senses of the eyes, ears, taste and smell. And the intuition, of course, is this business of our inner knowing. And it includes the clairs, the clairvoyant senses. Just a reminder, it's a really gentle and soft colour. So we could summarise this as saying it connects our intuition, it awakens our inspiration, and it expands our spiritual awareness and understanding of the world around us. So mauve is attributed to carry the properties of peace and tranquility, which assists with things like memory retention, improved concentration and focus, and this is through the links with the crown chakra. So people that have struggled with memory retention, or even the trauma symptoms, and even I would go as far as to say potentially acquired brain injury, where its impact on a person's capacity to concentrate and focus for extended periods of time, they might benefit from working with mauve. For other people, perhaps say students who are studying towards degrees, or anybody that's trying to learn a new task and it requires repetition, you may also benefit from working with the colour mauve. Now, when we're talking about this business of being able to make sense of the world around us, it's directly related and linked to our capacity to hear the truth and to respond appropriately. Now, it seems to be second nature for us as humans to be able to ignore or deny things that we're not comfortable with. And this includes when people say stuff that we're unwilling to hear or that we don't want to hear. And this can lead to us making some really poor decisions in our life and creating further problems or creating discomfort because the decisions that we make are not fully informed. So if you're drawn to the message of Mauve is, if you're drawn to or repelled by this as a colour, it's time to sit back and really ask yourself some big questions. What is it exactly that you aren't wanting to hear? What are you denying? What are you refusing to hear? Are you blocking people from communicating with you specifically because you don't like what it is that they say or because you disagree with their opinions or viewpoints? Our ears are intelligent, and they will, there is a question mark here as where some people believe they may try and block out information. I would go as far as to say they will try and block out information that we would rather avoid. And I'll put this to you by giving you a little bit of an example and say, think of a time when you've asked a question, whether it be of a person or just of the universe in general, and you go, give me the answers. I need the answers. And you get shown the answer or told the answer physically by somebody, and you think that's just wrong. You just automatically knee-jerk and shut down. You just go, that's not right. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't believe that. I'm unwilling to believe it. And from there, you've actually put up that blocker and barrier instead of processing the information that's being communicated and trying to look at it from different perspectives. So when we talk about the colour mauve, it's challenging us to identify when, in the first instance, when we become uncomfortable with the words that other people use or their opinions, and what lies underneath this. Because once we can establish that, then we can expand our own sense of self and our understanding. Now, there is an activity that I'm going to give you, and it's focused on the ears. But what I have observed, certainly within myself, you may have a different opinion. And of course, once again, I invite you to put your comments up. But what I feel is when we're talking about people listening and hearing in the modern context, if we're looking at social media, this is where a lot of conversations will happen. So for instance, I'm doing a video, you might not like what I'm hearing. You might put the blockers or what I'm saying. So you might put the blockers up and go, no, that's absolute codswallop. But then on the other hand, you might listen to what I'm saying and watch the video and think, yep, that sounds real, that resonates with me at some level. But then when we go through the content, if this channel was particularly active, you might see people putting up pro comments or against or whatever, things that you agree with or that you don't agree with. And what might happen is in the course of conversation on social media, a lot of our hearing actually is now coming through our eyes because we're reading people's opinions. And so this is why I say mauve at this point in time, I perceive might actually be helpful if we do activities that involve the eyes, is where I'm going, because this is all part of processing and interpreting the information that's presented to us. So I should have said on the other slide as well that if I was running an art therapy class and I had a client that I was working with that was either drawn to or repelled by the colour mauve, I would be asking them questions, like, is there something that you're hearing, something going on for you that you don't like the sound of? That's how I would approach it. But when it comes to doing the activity here, as I say, this one's focused particularly on the ears and on the listening. But we could use the mauve colour or the mauve light, mauve ray, whatever way you want to approach this. We could put our entire body, when you go back to slide too with the chakras, and you've got the person sitting in the white light, you could actually create that light and make it mauve coloured if you wanted. But at the same time, this is a simple one specifically dedicated to the hearing. So what we would do is we would use the mauve, the colour mauve, in the form of rays to release blockages from our ears. And this quick activity is one that is designed to help unblock your ears and open up your listening abilities. And you would do it by starting off putting your focus on the breath, doing that box breathing that I've got in another video, and then asking yourself those questions. But before you would go that far, you would actually ask yourself, as you've done your breathing and you're in that state, you then focus your attention on your ears and you feel them. And you ask yourself, do they feel blocked or do they feel clear? And if you can feel a bit of a blockage in there, or you feel that they're blocked, then you ask yourself basically, is there something that I am refusing to hear? Is there something I don't want to hear? Am I open to hearing the truth and other people's truth? Am I open to the perfect listening? Then there is another activity that you can do, which is one that the next time that you find yourself around somebody who says something that you consider to be hurtful or distressing, something that you don't like that creates a little bit of unrest in you, is to visualize and imagine a ray of mauve light that pushes in through your left ear, and it removes any debris and sensitivities out. So the ray is coming in your left ear, pushing out all the way over to the right ear, and then pushing these sensitivities and the debris out of the right ear and into a fire of transmutation that dissipates this negativity. And then you would repeat it, but this time you would actually bring the ray through the right ear and pushing it out through the left ear, and you would make this simple affirmation here that you can see on the slide. So, my friend, that's it for today. Just a little short, brief video on the colour mauve. Once again, I'd like to say thanks very much for being part of the journey. Until the next video, I wish you a blessed day, wonderful week, and I shall catch you on the next video. Take care and bye-bye for now.